Have you ever had that moment when your heart stops, your brain short-circuits, and you're left standing there wondering if you heard correctly? That's exactly what happened to me. I'm Alex, and what started as a simple favor for my boss turned into the most unexpected plot twist of my life. If you're enjoying this story so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more real-life romance stories that will make your heart skip a beat. It all began 3 months ago on a particularly hectic Friday at Horizon Marketing. The office was buzzing with the usual end-of-week energy, people rushing to complete projects before the weekend, the constant ping of emails, and the comforting hum of the coffee machine working overtime. I had been at Horizon for just over a year, working directly under Claire Bennett, the marketing director. Claire was 34, brilliant, driven, and intimidatingly competent. She had this way of walking into a room that commanded attention without her having to say a word. Her dark hair was always perfectly styled, her clothes impeccable, and her smile, when you earned it, could light up the entire office. Despite her professional demeanor, Claire wasn't cold. She was fair, supportive, and surprisingly funny when she let her guard down. We had developed a good working relationship over the months. I respected her immensely, and I think she appreciated my dedication and creativity. But there was always that professional boundary, the invisible line between boss and employee that neither of us ever considered crossing. That Friday, I was finishing up a presentation when Claire appeared at my desk, coffee in hand, looking uncharacteristically hesitant. "Alex, do you have a minute?" she asked, her voice slightly lower than usual. I saved my work and swiveled my chair to face her. "Of course. What's up?" She glanced around the office, then gestured toward her glass-walled office. "In private, if you don't mind." My mind immediately raced through all the projects I was handling, wondering if I'd missed something crucial or made a mistake. I followed her into her office, trying to keep my expression neutral despite the anxiety building in my chest. Claire closed the door behind us and took a seat behind her desk, motioning for me to sit across from her. She took a deep breath, and I braced myself for whatever was coming. "I need your help with something," she said, "but it's not work-related." The tension in my shoulders eased slightly. "Okay. This is a bit awkward," she continued, fidgeting with her coffee cup. "But my sister and my friends have been on my case about being single for too long, and they've convinced me to try online dating." I blinked, surprised by this personal revelation. Claire had never discussed her love life at work, and I had always assumed she was too busy for dating. "The thing is," she went on, "I have no idea how to set up a profile that doesn't sound desperate or boring. You're good with words, and you understand social media. Would you mind helping me set up a dating profile this weekend? I'd pay you for your time, of course." I was momentarily speechless. My boss, my brilliant, beautiful boss, was asking me to help her find dates. The irony wasn't lost on me, considering I'd been trying very hard not to notice how attractive she was for the past year. "You don't have to pay me," I said quickly. "I'd be happy to help. That's what friends are for, right?" Claire's relief was visible. "Thank you, Alex. I really appreciate it. Are you free tomorrow afternoon? We could meet at that coffee shop on Maple Street, Brood Awakening." "Sure, that works for me. Around 2? Perfect." She smiled, and I felt that familiar flutter in my chest that I'd been trying to ignore. "And Alex? Let's keep this between us. I'd rather the office didn't know about my dating adventures." "Of course," I assured her. "Your secret's safe with me." As I left her office, I couldn't help but wonder what I'd just agreed to. Helping my boss, whom I secretly admired more than I should, find someone else to date seemed like a special kind of torture. But I couldn't say no to Claire, not when she looked at me with those hopeful brown eyes. Saturday arrived with unexpected nerves. I spent more time than I'd like to admit choosing what to wear for what was essentially a work meeting. I settled on dark jeans and a blue button-down shirt, casual but put together. I arrived at Brood Awakening 15 minutes early and secured a quiet table in the corner, away from the weekend crowd. Claire arrived precisely at 2, dressed in jeans and a simple green sweater that brought out the flecks of gold in her eyes. Without her usual business attire, she looked younger, more approachable. Her hair was loose around her shoulders, and she wore minimal makeup. She was breathtaking. "Thanks for coming," she said, sliding into the seat across from me. "I brought my laptop so we can work on this together." I ordered us both coffee, and we settled in. Claire opened her laptop and navigated to a popular dating site. "So," I began, trying to sound professional, "what kind of relationship are you looking for? Casual dating, something serious, or?" Claire considered the question. "I'm not interested in casual hookups. I've been focused on my career for so long that I've neglected my personal life. I think I'm ready for something meaningful." I nodded, ignoring the twinge in my chest. "And what qualities are you looking for in a partner?" "Intelligence, ambition, kindness," she listed. "Someone who challenges me but also supports me. Someone who makes me laugh." She paused, looking slightly embarrassed. "I know that sounds like a tall order." "Not at all," I assured her. "Those are perfectly reasonable qualities to want in a partner." We spent the next hour crafting her profile. I helped her choose photos that showcased not just her beauty but her personality: Claire hiking in the mountains, Claire at a charity gala she had organized, Claire laughing with friends at a restaurant. We wrote a bio that was honest, witty, and warm, highlighting her passion for marketing, her love of classic films, and her goal to visit all 7 continents. As we worked, the professional boundary between us seemed to blur. Claire shared stories about disastrous blind dates her sister had set up, and I told her about my own online dating mishaps. We laughed more in those few hours than we had in all our time working together. "What about you?" Claire asked as we were finalizing her profile. "Are you seeing anyone?" I shook my head. "Not at the moment. I've been focused on work." "That sounds familiar," she said with a small smile. "Any prospects?" I hesitated, then decided on honesty. "There's someone I'm interested in, but it's complicated." Claire's eyes met mine, curious. "Complicated how?" "Let's just say it's not the right time," I replied, quickly changing the subject. "Now, let's review your profile one more time before we publish it." By the time we finished, 3 hours had passed, and we had consumed multiple coffees and shared a slice of chocolate cake. Claire's dating profile was live, and already she had received several interested messages. "I can't thank you enough, Alex," she said as we packed up. "This was actually fun." "It was," I agreed. "And who knows? Maybe you'll meet someone great." Claire studied me for a moment, her expression unreadable. "Maybe. Would you like to grab dinner? As a thank you for your help today." I should have said no. I should have maintained that professional distance. But the afternoon had been so enjoyable, and the thought of returning to my empty apartment seemed suddenly unappealing. "I'd like that," I said. We found a small Italian restaurant a few blocks away. Over pasta and wine, our conversation flowed effortlessly. Claire told me about her childhood in a small town, her dreams of traveling the world, and her struggle to be taken seriously in a male-dominated industry. I shared stories about my chaotic family, my passion for photography, and my secret desire to write a novel someday. "You know," Claire said, twirling pasta around her fork, "I've never really gotten to know my employees like this. It's nice." "Is that all I am?" I asked, the wine making me bolder than usual. "An employee?" Claire's eyes met mine, and something shifted in the air between us. "No," she said softly. I think we passed that point somewhere between the second coffee and helping me craft responses to potential dates. The evening stretched on, neither of us eager to end it. We shared dessert, tiramisu that Claire insisted was life-changing, and she was right. When the bill came, I reached for it, but Claire was faster. "This is my thank you to you, remember," she said firmly. Outside the restaurant, the night air was cool and crisp. We stood awkwardly on the sidewalk, the evening clearly coming to an end but neither of us quite ready to say goodbye. "I had a really good time today," Claire said, her breath visible in the chilly air. "Me too," I replied. "Good luck with the dating site. Let me know how it goes." She nodded, then surprised me by leaning in and kissing my cheek. "Good night, Alex." I watched her walk to her car, my cheek tingling where her lips had touched it. As I made my way home, I couldn't help but feel I had just made a wonderful mistake. The following week at work was strange. Claire was professional as always, but there were moments, a lingering glance, a smile that seemed just for me, her hand brushing mine as she passed me documents, that made me wonder if something had changed between us. On Wednesday, she stopped by my desk just as I was preparing to leave for the day. "How's the dating profile working out?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Claire made a face. "Mixed results. I've had a lot of messages, but most of them are from men who clearly didn't read my profile. A few seem promising, though." "That's great," I said, ignoring the sinking feeling in my stomach. "Actually," she continued, "I have a date tomorrow night. First one in ages." "Oh?" I managed, forcing a smile. "With someone from the site?" She nodded. "His name is Daniel. He's an architect. Seems nice from our messages." "I hope it goes well," I said, meaning it despite the jealousy gnawing at me. Claire deserved happiness, even if it wasn't with me. "Thanks," she said, then hesitated. "Would you mind if I texted you afterward? To let you know how it went? You're kind of invested in this now." "Of course," I replied. "Text me anytime." The next evening was torture. I tried to distract myself with work, then with a movie, then with cleaning my apartment, but my mind kept wandering to Claire and her date. Was she laughing at his jokes? Was he appreciating how her eyes crinkled when she smiled genuinely? Did he notice the way she tucked her hair behind her ear when she was thinking? At 9:47 p.m., my phone buzzed with a text from Claire, "Date over. Can I call you?" My heart raced as I replied, "Sure." The phone rang almost immediately. "Hey," I answered, trying to sound casual. "Hi," Claire's voice came through, sounding tired. "Are you busy?" "Not at all." "How was the date?" She sighed. "Awful. Absolutely awful." Relief washed over me, followed immediately by guilt. "What happened? Where do I start?" He was 20 minutes late. He spent the entire dinner talking about his ex-girlfriend and how I reminded him of her. Then he had the audacity to suggest we go back to his place because, and I quote, "we have a connection." I couldn't help but laugh. Wow. That's impressively bad. Right? Claire laughed too, the sound warming me through the phone. I should have known when his profile said his favorite book was anything with pictures. "I'm sorry it didn't work out," I said, "not sorry at all." "Don't be. It's part of the process, I guess." She paused. "What are you doing right now?" I looked around my spotless apartment. "Nothing important." Would you want to meet for a drink?" I could use a friendly face after that disaster. I should have said no. I should have maintained boundaries. But instead, I heard myself say, "Text me the address. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I met Claire at a quiet bar near her apartment. She was still dressed for her date in a simple black dress that made my mouth go dry when I saw her. We found a booth in the corner and ordered drinks. "To failed dates," Claire toasted, raising her glass. "To failed dates," I echoed, clinking my glass against hers. One drink turned into two as Claire recounted more details from her disastrous evening. I found myself sharing dating horror stories of my own, and soon we were both laughing so hard that tears streamed down our faces. "You know what the worst part is?" Claire said, wiping her eyes. "I wasted a perfectly good Friday night." "The night's not over yet," I pointed out. "And the company's better now, I hope." She smiled, her eyes meeting mine. "Much better." There was a moment of silence between us, charged with something I couldn't quite name. "Alex," Claire said softly, "can I ask you something?" "Anything." "That person you mentioned, the one you're interested in, but it's complicated." "Why is it complicated?" My heart hammered in my chest. This was dangerous territory. "It's someone I shouldn't be interested in. Someone unavailable." "Unavailable how?" she pressed. "Married? In a relationship?" I shook my head. "No, nothing like that. Just, off limits for other reasons." Claire leaned forward slightly. "What if they weren't off limits? What would you do then?" I swallowed hard, knowing we were no longer speaking hypothetically. "I'd probably still be too afraid to make a move." "Why?" "Because rejection from this particular person would be devastating." Claire's eyes never left mine. "What if they made the first move? What if they told you they felt the same way?" The air between us seemed to crackle with electricity. "Then I guess I'd have to take a chance," I said, barely above a whisper. Claire reached across the table and placed her hand over mine. Her touch sent sparks shooting up my arm. "Alex," she said, her voice steady despite the vulnerability in her eyes, "I think I've been fighting an attraction to you since your first week at Horizon." The world seemed to stop. I stared at her, certain I had misheard. "What?" "I know it's inappropriate. I'm your boss. There are power dynamics to consider. But these past few days, getting to know you outside of work." She took a deep breath. "I can't stop thinking about you." My mind raced, trying to process her words. Claire, beautiful, brilliant Claire, was attracted to me? Had been all this time? "Say something," she urged, uncertainty creeping into her expression. "I've been trying not to fall for you for a year," I admitted. "Not very successfully." Relief flooded her face, followed by a smile that took my breath away. "So what do we do now?" It was a complicated question with no easy answer. Office relationships were discouraged at Horizon, especially between managers and their direct reports. There were ethical considerations, potential conflicts of interest, and the risk to both our professional reputations. "I don't know," I answered honestly. "But I know I want to find out where this could go." Claire squeezed my hand. "Me too." We spent hours in that booth, discussing the practical implications of our feelings. We agreed to take things slowly, to be discreet at work, and to reassess the situation in a few weeks to make sure neither of our careers was being compromised. When we finally left the bar, Claire walked me to my car. Under the soft glow of a streetlight, she looked up at me with those incredible eyes. "I'm glad your date was terrible," I confessed. She laughed. "Me too." I hesitated, then leaned down and kissed her softly. Her lips were warm and tasted faintly of the red wine she'd been drinking. When we pulled apart, her smile was dazzling. "Good night, Alex," she said. "Good night, Claire." The following weeks were a delicate dance of maintaining professionalism at work while exploring our growing feelings outside the office. We went on proper dates, dinner at hidden gems in the city, a weekend hike to a secluded waterfall, an art exhibition Claire had been eager to see. Each moment together revealed new layers to Claire that made me fall deeper.